Another closet video. I told you guys, so just deal with it. You're welcome. I know you guys appreciate these. Make all the jokes you want. I'm not insecure, so let's just, please don't. I'm really sad. Anyways, woo. So news today. The news today we got out from WCCF Tech is the people who tipped me off to this initially because I got the notification on my phone that they posted a new article. However, it's not like one of those other WCCF Tech articles where it's just like, this is all fake rumors. This is fake news. Nobody can substantiate these claims. I can substantiate it perfectly well and good. This is not anything that's coming from industry rumors. This is something that you guys can prove yourself. So if we take a look, it apparently looks like AMD is going to be dropping their RX 500X series graphics cards, which means that we are getting some new GPUs launching from AMD, hopefully sometime in the soon future. So there's been a ton of speculation about whether or not AMD would be refreshing their mid-range graphics cards, which is like the RX 560 through the RX 580, the graphics cards that most people are buying, whereas the RX Vega is their performance enthusiast class, but really only used for mining type cards. So we're trying to find out, is there an everyman refresh going on? Is this happening? And why am I doing this little flappy thing that I'm doing? It appears that with the RX 500X series that we will be getting the lineup, but this provides some interesting questions that we should evaluate, and that is a hanger that is right. I'm gonna move that. We don't have much information beyond the fact that AMD has a product page listing for 500X series. That's not, there's nothing besides that. We don't have any information on when the cards are going to be released, what process node, what architecture are they going to be built on, anything like that. But we do have some, what it's called in the information that's left out gives us enough to speculate on what potentially is happening. So let's take a look at it. It's RX 500X series, not the RX Vega anything else series, which is a good indication that the mid-tier graphics cards that we are going to get are not going to be based on the Vega architecture, because as we've been seeing from anything that is using Vega, AMD is naming it based on Vega. We are seeing Vega in the product name. I mean, unless you want to include the APUs like the 2400G and the 2200G, but then we're seeing that it's an RX Vega graphics card in Vega 11, Vega 8, doesn't matter. Like, Vega is very clearly, distinctly marked, which is why we have RX Vega 56, we have RX Vega 64. I believe, personally, this could be something that I could be totally wrong on, but the way I would perceive this is that this is not a refresh that is going to include a new architecture. What we are going to get is another refresh of Polaris. So that'll give us 3 generations of the exact same architecture. And this is interesting because AMD indicated that we should actually have 2 refreshes of Vega coming this year, but I could be wrong. So let me get that out there right now, is that this is all speculation. I want this to be a discussion. Let me know your thoughts. What are you thinking? What have you seen? What other information is out there on the net? Let's chat about that in the Discord or in the comments down below. Let's engage in that discussion. So AMD indicated that there should be a refresh of Vega this year. There should be a refresh of Vega on the 12 nanometer process because it's currently on the 14 nanometer process. However, at CES, they announced that we were getting a 7 nanometer refresh of Vega and not a 12 nanometer refresh. There's no 12 nanometer on the roadmap anymore, which is confusing because 12 nanometers would be a good refresh for us to get the RX Vega 28, which would replace the RX 580. However, there's nothing that is coming out in that indication that we are having those types of graphics cards dropping anytime soon. It appears right now that the only focus that AMD has for Vega is either at the super high end 56 and 64, or at the budget end where you have it on the 2200G, the 2400G, or that Intel NUC, which apparently is really great and just not something that we're going to get in a discrete graphics card. Or maybe we are, because there's some rumors floating out there that we're supposed to get that the next version of RX Vega will be discrete graphics of, RX Vega 11, which is going to compete. That's not the point. RX Vega 500X doesn't appear to be anything that is on the roadmap for Vega's refresh of 12 nanometers or 7 nanometers. So what could it be? Well, it looks like it's going to be another Polaris. We're going to get Polaris 10 on is it even going to be a different process node? The only thing that could potentially be different as far as what AMD hasn't indicated, so we have no indication of Polaris being refreshed for anything, but the RX 500X series would indicate that it is going to be refreshed for something. So the only difference would be that there's an update to GCN. That would be basically it, that we're getting a refresh of GCN, which is exactly what they did between the RX not the RX, the R9 200 series and the R9 300 series. They're the exact same GPUs. They just updated the GCN architecture. That's all they did. There was no difference in between the GPUs. They just updated it to give it some additional features and upgraded the TDP and the clocks, and Bob's your uncle, you have a faster GPU, and that's potentially what we're going to see here. However, another interesting perspective that we could have on this whole scenario is that AMD might be foraying into the mining scene. This could be their attempt to differentiate the different graphics cards that they are going to have, one for gaming, which would be the normal one, and then you have the X on the name for extreme, meaning that they're mining cards. This could be a move similar to what Nvidia might be doing with Ampere and Turing, where we have two different architectures based on the same exact thing, utilized for different purposes in different ways that allow us to actually have our cake and eat it too. We have the RX 580, which is just reserved for gaming because it's not as superior to mining as the new X series would be. Let's say they increase the memory speed, they overclock it right out of the factory, they make sure that the memory timings are as tight as they possibly can be, and they sell them with display outs. Anything like that. Any mining card like that, where it has a decent warranty, has better memory, has as fast of a GPU core as you need, that card would sell like hotcakes, especially if it's priced competitively with the RX 580 series card. This is a complete possibility for AMD to take. They could try to usurp Nvidia's position before they even get in on the market for dedicated mining cards that are actually of worth to people and actually provide some value to miners, besides the fact that they're just no display outs and 3 months warranty and just are this exact same price. Like that's the stupid nonsense that's been going on with mining cards that honestly shouldn't be happening. And I think the graphics card companies are realizing that they can benefit more from this as long as they put the effort and the research and the time into it. And if they just want to base it off of an architecture that they already have, that would be beneficial to them because they don't have to put that much time into developing it. They only have to do the groundwork for memory stuff and for just making sure that the warranties are okay and that it actually has display outs. As long as they can optimize it for some semblance of what normal mining cards do, then they can have their cake and eat it too. And we're also seeing this with companies like ASRock. So this is the first indication that could maybe kind of make me believe that AMD is okay with this, where ASRock, with their new gaming lineup that's coming out, they are distinguishing their cards based on memory manufacturer, which is something that's never really happened before. I mean, I'm sure you guys could correct me on that, and that this has happened before, but ASRock will let you know which memory producer you're getting before you buy it. And that's an important thing for miners because certain cards perform better under certain circumstances with different mining algorithms. So if you know that you're buying the ASRock RX 580 or RX 570 Samsung edition versus the Hynix edition or versus the Micron edition, then you'll know what type of mining performance you're actually going to get out of the card. And it would seem to me that this isn't just something that is a passing fad. This is something that GPU manufacturers and their partners are trying to take seriously. I could see this going the way of, we are going to get mining cards that are actually worth something and that will help gamers be prioritized in the fact that there is a certain set of cards that are completely developed for them, and then there's the modified cards that are of a proper value to these miners, and we're going to provide it here. And AMD being in on that could be some good indication that we might be getting something that is very sweet. But if I have to speculate on when these cards are going to drop, it's obviously going to be at Computex. I mean, there's no other time where I could see them dropping something, unless, I mean, Linus just said on the current WIN show that he's going to China. The only other times he's gone to China recently have been for AMD events. However, I would speculate that it is most likely for the launch of Ryzen 2, which is happening on the 19th. So I would suspect that they're getting to see Ryzen 2 in action for the April 19th launch, which means that it could be potentially that they're going to announce the RX 500X series there. So that's happening this week. I'm sure that there's going to be NDAs and embargoes part of that, which I don't get invited to these special press events. So, you know, I'm just here speculating in a closet about whatever is going to happen. And I hope you guys find some value out of this discussion, because the whole point isn't for me to stand here and tell you guys what I think. It's for me to tell you guys what I think, but then also have feedback from you, and so that we can have an honest conversation of where this whole thing is heading. I could get feedback on the community to know what interests you guys and whether or not you want to see these types of videos. So Linus is going to China. I'm sure other people are going to China to find out information about stuff from AMD. It could be the RX 500X series, so they could be announcing it at their own event, but more than likely this could also put the launch at the same time as Turing and Ampere, which is, by my speculations, going to be announced at Computex and then released slightly later. We could be seeing that happening here with AMD. However, it could happen even quicker because who knows? I mean, if it's based on the same architecture that they already have and it's just a GCN update, there's no reason that they can't just run these out really quickly. The only difference is that they're not going to be on GDDR6, which is supposed to have a July timeframe. So, I mean, they could do it quickly and probably still be on GDDR5, or they could do it, they could wait and then have a new memory controller and it be on GDDR6. There's a whole different slew of possibilities for what we could be getting with an AMD card. However, I don't think that we're going to see a better gaming card come out from AMD this year, which is probably the base level assumption that I think we can all agree on. AMD is not going to get better at gaming this year on the graphics side of things. We're just going to kind of be stuck with where we're at. And so the only room for improvement that I see AMD taking, especially if they're not going to be releasing a new Vega based on the naming of this new series, is the fact that they would either update GCN or they would update the memory. We could get GDDR6. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the Discord down below or down below in the comments. Want to chat with you guys. Be sure to smash the like button if you enjoyed this video. Get subscribed to stay up to date on all of our tech related content. I thought we were off the road. We are not off the road. So this video in the closet, and then yeah, we have to do some more traveling, but South Africa is calling my name. I will be back so soon. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me. Thank you guys so much for sticking with these odd scheduled releases and just the different type of content that all of this is. I know I read the comments. I know some of you complain about it. I know you're just like, why is this so low budget? Why don't you get a studio? Why are you just ranting about things in a closet? Production time, my friends. I don't have the time to actually be able to make videos that are super in-depth. I have to rely on my team for that, and it takes time to produce a good video that like has tons of information. And so this way I can maintain the channel, I can have a discussion with you guys, I can stay up to date on what's going on. And this is, I honestly consider this more of a like daily vlog type thing more than anything. It just happens to be tech related. These are things that I'm reading in the news that are piquing my interest, that are driving me wild in my assumptions and thoughts and fantasies about what AMD is going to release next. And so I want to have that discussion with you. So I mean, until further notice, these are like the daily vlogs of tech. That's basically what I'm doing. I'm doing tech vlogs. That's what's happening. And it has some value, doesn't have some value, it's up to you. We're still trying to do as much as we possibly can. There's reviews and other stuff that's coming out as well. We're putting in the effort. It just takes time, especially with me being on the road, having a family, wife, 3 kids, driving all the time, on the road, not having a studio, but yeah, tons of stuff going on, but it'll all get resolved soon. And I really like you guys. Thank you so much. This turned into, like, that's what vlogs turn into at the end. It's just a gushing of emotion. And so that's what happened. I gushed my emotions on you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.